Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A Wayne County District Judge makes a big ruling in a case about Detroit's ballot counting. Coming up, why he says claims made by GOP poll challengers are incorrect and lacked evidence.
And the local forecasters tracking a mixed bag for the weekend. So when could we see some rain?
But we'll begin this Friday with yet another record number of new coronavirus cases in the state of Michigan. 8,516 positive tests over the past 24 hours. That smashes the old record, which was set yesterday at 6,900. Also today, the state reporting 118 more deaths from the virus, including 83 from a review of past vital records. So to give you just a little more perspective, a week ago today, there were 3,700 new cases, and today it is more than double that.
The fast-moving spread of the virus is not letting up despite dire warnings from experts and hospital leaders urging anyone who will listen to stay home and stay safe. Jason Colthorpe is live tonight. Jason, it just doesn't seem that the message is getting through to people.
Well, yes and no, Kimberly. I mean, you look at, we've all seen people who simply are not acting responsibly in all of this, but a lot of people are trying to reduce the number of people they see or the size of the gatherings they're in. But as doctors say, it's still not enough. And it only takes one encounter for the virus to spread. And that's why they're seeing increased numbers of COVID patients at hospitals like here at Henry Ford Health System. Despite continued warnings about masking up, distancing, and avoiding even small gatherings, COVID numbers are exploding. Today, Henry Ford Health System's top doc echoed that and is now worried about possible jumps in the number of people who will die.
From a national data perspective, we've had close to 1,200 deaths in the past 24 hours. And in Michigan, we are seeing almost 50 deaths per day over the next week. Definitely very sobering data.
In recent weeks, the rate of people testing positive was just 2 to 3%. It's now 13%. A shortage in testing supplies is also becoming critical, both nationwide and statewide.
100% of our testing, we were getting back the results within 24 hours. This has now extended to about 36 to 48 hours because of that supply shortage.
23% of COVID patients are in Henry Ford's intensive care units, which are at 80 to 90% capacity overall. And that's concerning. Not concerning, though, at least for now, is the number of ventilators because of what doctors have learned over the life of this pandemic in treating COVID-19.
In the spring, the belief at that time was that everybody needs to go on the ventilator early because it provides better outcome. We have learned that this is not the case, and accordingly, we are intervening with medical interventions, including high oxygen therapy before a patient is put on a ventilator.
So that's definitely good news. Doctors are also very excited about another vaccine they're working on here. This is in addition to the Pfizer vaccine that's getting good reviews so far, as well as the other vaccines being developed by the other companies. We'll have to see where that ends up. Kimberly.
Jason, I'm wondering, I know in the spring hospitals became COVID facilities only. Is Henry Ford still seeing non-COVID patients?
They are, and it's because when they did that the first time around, other patients, those cancer treatments, cardiac care, operations, transplants, all of that were put on hold, and it came at a great negative impact to those patients, and they don't want that to happen this time. However, as we see these numbers rise, doctors are worried that we could see that happen again as COVID patients start to increasingly take over space in the hospitals.
Let's hope
Kimberly.
that doesn't happen. Okay, Jason, Thank you. President Trump, meanwhile, speaks publicly for the first time in more than a week.
President giving us an update on Operation Warp Speed, the project to develop and speed up the production of COVID-19 vaccines. With the recent surge of coronavirus cases, he says his administration has no plans for a second lockdown.
Ideally, we won't go to a lockdown. I will not go. This administration will not be going to a lockdown. Hopefully, the whatever happens in the future, who knows which administration it will be. I guess time will tell. But I can tell you this administration will not go to a lockdown.
Earlier this week, Pfizer announced that its trials show its COVID-19 vaccine is more than 90% effective in testing thus far. It is now seeking emergency use authorization from the Food and Drug Administration. Incorrect and not credible. That's how a Wayne County District Judge describes Republican challenges to Detroit's vote counting at the TCF Center.
The case was the latest in a series of efforts to stop the 2020 election process. Our Grant Herms has more from inside this major ruling.
The case is another blow to Republicans who have been claiming widespread fraud and misconduct during Detroit's ballot counting at TCF Center. The judge saying today those making these claims could have avoided confusion but chose not to.
In a written ruling today, a Wayne County District Court judge denying an attempt to stop Michigan's election certification to wait for an audit after several alleged poll workers said they saw fraud and misconduct during the counting of absentee ballots. The judge going claim by claim, explaining why they didn't hold up. In many cases, he called the claims generalized and had no evidentiary basis. And in one case, he said the claim was rife with speculation and guesswork about sinister motives. Among those calling for an audit was former Secretary of State, now State Senator Ruth Johnson, whose statement the judge called into question after she wrote she was not at the counting center to witness the allegations. The judge saying the GOP challengers could have gone to the city's accuracy test before the election, so, quote, questions and concerns could have been answered in advance. Regrettably, they did not, ultimately finding their interpretation of the events is incorrect and not credible. Local 4 did reach out to the attorneys for the challengers but did not hear back. The attorney for the city, David Fink, saying this afternoon the ruling should put an end to rumors of misconduct.
The record shows, and it's unequivocal now, that the city clerk ran a good, fair election.
This case is the second to be thrown out by a Michigan state judge. Both of those cases are now being used as evidence in the president's federal case in the Western District of Michigan. So how this will affect that case will likely to be seen. In Detroit, Grant Herms, Local 4.
All right, Grant, that ruling came after a federal election official called this election the most secure in American history. NBC News has now called every state in the 2020 presidential race, and President-elect Joe Biden has increased his electoral lead. It's adding pressure on President Trump to concede and aid the transition process that he has thus far been blocking. Let's check in with Alice Barr in Washington. Alice?
Devin, President-elect Biden has now flipped 5 states that President Trump won in 2016. And while the president is still challenging the results, elections experts do not expect recounts or lawsuits to change the final tally.
Good afternoon, everyone.
President-elect Biden widening his lead today, with NBC News projecting him as the winner in Arizona and the apparent winner in Georgia, where a hand recount is underway. President Trump picking up North Carolina, but falling further behind in the overall electoral count, now 306 to 232, with every state called. The president still refusing to concede and pushing baseless fraud allegations, even as his own cybersecurity officials at the Department of Homeland Security are declaring the election, quote, the most secure in American history, with no evidence of changed or compromised votes. President Trump claiming credit for running a secure election, while at the same time falsely accusing Democrats of rigging it. That, as many of his battleground lawsuits are hitting a dead end in the courts.
His lawsuits being dismissed by judges who seem quite exasperated, with lawyers representing the Trump campaign who simply do not have facts.
President Trump today getting his first briefing since the election on the fast-track vaccine program known as Operation Warp Speed. The president has been largely silent on the COVID crisis as cases and hospitalizations break new records by the day. With the government refusing to share resources and information, the Biden transition team is beginning its own plans to distribute a vaccine.
Right now, there are officials inside the Department of Health and Human Services who are busy planning a vaccination campaign for the months of February and March, when Joe Biden will be president.
The incoming administration stressing the urgent need for a seamless White House handoff. The Biden transition team says it's moving ahead without White House help, but warns of serious concerns if the delays continue. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Alice. Well, tonight, Governor Whitmer is moving to shut down the controversial Line 5 pipeline in the Straits of Mackinac.
And she's doing it by taking Enbridge, the owner of Line 5, to court. Let's bring in Larry Spruill. Larry, she wants this shut down by May.
Yeah, Devin and Kimberly. Now, this falls within the 180 days timeline issued by Governor Whitmer and Attorney General Dana Nessel. Now, Whitmer says that she is simply looking out for the Great Lakes and our fresh water. Let's take a look at the details.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced legal action Friday to close a pipeline that carries oil between a channel that links two of the Great Lakes. It's called the Line 5 pipeline and is located in the Straits of Mackinac. Whitmer's office notified the Canadian company Enbridge that it was revoking an easement granted in 1953 to extend a roughly 4-mile section of the pipeline through the Straits of Mackinac. Now, this will start within 180 days. That's when the oil flow must stop. Whitmer also mentioned that Enbridge has routinely refused to take action to protect our Great Lakes and the millions of Americans who depend on them for clean drinking water and good jobs. She says they have repeatedly violated the terms of the 1953 easement by ignoring structural problems, and that puts our Great Lakes and our families at risk. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel chimed in, saying she filed a lawsuit to carry out Whitmer's decision. She says Line 5 poses a great risk to our state, and it must be removed from our public waterways.
And we also heard back from Enbridge this afternoon. A spokesperson says that Enbridge remains confident that Line 5 continues to operate safely and that there is no credible basis for terminating the 1953 easement, allowing the dual Line 5 pipeline to cross the Straits of the Mackinac. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right, Larry, we've got much more ahead here on this Friday at 5. Let's check in with Nick.
The Macomb County executive saying if a shutdown is to happen, this is what we need in order to follow it. We'll explain it.
And I'm meteorologist Andrew Humphrey. Chilly for this Friday evening with some temperatures already in the 30s. How low do temperatures go tonight? I've got your weekend forecast, and you know it, a new tropical storm, the 30th one. Details on that coming up.
Okay, Andrew, and why GM is telling some Chevy Bolt owners it's dangerous to park their cars in the garage.
The Archbishop of Detroit making a big announcement today that affects all Catholics here as well as parishes. What it means next on Local 4.